I love that intro. Hey, what's happening, Internet? Welcome to the audio podcast on Nightwing 01. This is Batcast, and tonight we're going to be talking about the Michael Keaton rumored Batman Beyond film and why it's a terrible idea. So, there's a lot of speculation going on, and this is not 100% yet. There's still time. But there is an idea kicking around that the Birds of Prey writer, I know, is considering actually being asked to do the Batman Beyond movie. Which, well, I mean, she wrote Birds of Prey. She's being attached to, I believe, the Flash movie as well. She's kind of WB's it girl right now. I know, Shadow. Oh my gosh. So, one of the problems involved with this is Keaton is on board for doing a lot of cool stuff, and Batman Beyond was brought up during discussions, which, you know, that's what people have wanted. But what people have wanted has been a Batman Beyond movie with Terry McGinnis in the starring role, and not Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. Because essentially, if she's in it, not only will you not have like a future Batman story, but it would basically just be like Bruce Wayne becoming kind of what Tony Stark was to a very young Spider-Man. Like, you'd have Batgirl literally, you know, just kind of with Bruce, her handler or something like that, if you remember shows like Chuck or Alias or whatever. Hello, cats. You guys are all driving me crazy. So I don't like that idea. People are mixed on it. I know that Grace thinks it's an amazing idea because girl power and all that other stuff, but there's a couple problems with it. Terry McGinnis, the character, likes to razz on Bruce quite a bit. And in this culture that we live in currently, if you had Barbara Gordon be that Terry McGinnis character and her talking down to Bruce and doing all this other stuff, it wouldn't come across as the same kind of playful banter that it was in the Batman Beyond show. It would seem to echo a lot of that, we'll say Ghostbusters 2016 mentality. So it's a bad idea. That's a bad spin. There's another possibility that McGinnis could show up, but you have to remember a lot of these executives, they don't really know what they're doing. So without Jeff Johns in the picture, they don't really have that MCU Kevin Feige person, I believe it is, to really whisper in their ear what the comic direction would be, or, you know, what fans would like to see. They see an idea, they see a potential like Batman Beyond, cool. Michael Keaton, people want that, awesome. And, you know, we're making that Batgirl movie. What if we took that Batgirl movie, took elements of Batman Beyond, and just did that? I'm sure fans would love that. No, fans want a Batgirl solo movie with, like, either based on, you know, Batgirl Year One, or I guess you could do Gal Simone's run from the New 52. It wasn't too bad, except it spit in the face of disabled people because they healed Barbara Gordon with a microchip in her spine, and said that she was, quote, better, she was fixed. There was nothing wrong with her. She was just, you know, disabled because of an accident. So that was a huge controversy back in the New 52 days. She's still walking around now. She still, like, has cyber components in her spine or whatever, telling her brain to move. Comics. But a lot of people would still want Batgirl to have her own movie. They don't like the idea of the whole Batman Beyond Batgirl vehicle because it ruins a lot of potential. Now, some of the directors that have been mentioned, of course, you know, Michael doesn't want to do stuff without Tim Burton. If Tim Burton could actually do a Batman Beyond movie, I'd say it's possible, as long as they kept to like that whole futuristic thing and they didn't go too far, like 1980s Gothic or Nightmare Before Christmas architect, you know. But who knows what they would do with that. There's been some other people that they've brought up, like in these rumors, that I don't really know these directors, so I can't tell you heads or tails, like what they're known for. Some of them are very sci-fi oriented. Some of them are very like noir type stuff, but I don't know. I caught wind of this and I was kind of like, well, I mean, what's the possibility of this actually happening? And it's kind of high. There are a couple people that have tried to debunk this on the internet, but some of these people on Twitter don't really have a lot of credibility when it comes to this stuff. They're wrong quite a bit. when they break these things. I mean, Grace is hit or miss sometimes, but the dude who debunked Grace is also hit or miss. So supposedly we're going to find out more stuff about the Batman Beyond or Keaton stuff at the DC Nation event, but I don't think so. I think it's way too soon. I think you'll get more info on Snyder stuff at the DC fandom event. Maybe they'll announce that Keaton is coming back for the Flash movie, which is pretty much nailed down by now. There's only a couple things remaining that they would need to do in order for Keaton to be truly on board, but he's leaning more toward yes than no. And a lot of that has to do with he wants to pass on the mantle, or at least, because he's getting old. And he likes the idea of appearing in other movies because he's not doing, like, a lot of pictures right now. He's doing the Morbius thing. But he's getting up there in years, and once an actor reaches those golden years, there's really not a lot of use for them. And they want to put Keaton in the suit again, which I still don't understand how that's going to work. But, I mean, if he's down for it, cool. If not, I don't know. I think there's potential with the idea. As for the Batman Begins or Batman Beyond thing, if they wanted to go with Terry, for about, I want to say 15 years, off and on, like shelved at DC and Warner Brothers, they have a couple Batman Beyond movie ideas. One has to do with a variation of the pilot and like the show pilot, and the other variation of the Batman Beyond like script or whatever that's been flying around, because Batwings, was based on, I believe, the relaunch of the Batman Beyond comics about, would have been 6, 7, 8 years ago. So, I mean, they have some story potential, but Blight would definitely be a big influence for a Terry McGinnis Batman movie. As for a Batgirl villain, I don't know what to tell you. It would be very, very soon. I'm trying to think who would be considered a villain for her. It wouldn't be the Joker, and that wouldn't work. It'd have to be like something from Gal Simone's run or something. They would probably combine elements from the New 52. The Birds of Prey writer really likes to use the New 52 as a core example of her work, which she did for the Birds of Prey movie. She very heavily leaned on Harley Quinn's characterization for the New 52 as opposed to her 90s one. And even, I would say, probably some of her solo books. It was, I don't know. There will be no Harley Quinn second movie, though, because, well, obvious reasons. But they're going to still use this screenwriter person, which I don't know. I mean, I don't want to say that she's a terrible screenwriter. I know she's done well in the past, but if they combine this idea, I just see it being a big mess. I really do. If they want to do Batman Beyond, it needs to be Terry McGinnis. It needs to be Bruce Wayne. If they go with the Barbara Gordon and the Bruce Wayne mechanic and they lean too heavy, like they did with Captain Marvel or the Ghostbusters movie, it's just going to turn into a man-bashing movie. And I do not want Keaton attached to something like that because that'll ruin his imagery from the 1980s. You know, you don't bring Batman back and then just basically belittle the importance of that person, like, you know, man bad, girl good, that kind of thing. You would need to bring Keaton back and do honor to his time on the screen as Batman, and also be happy that he's brought back into the picture. You don't want to do the Batwoman thing that they did to Kevin Conroy, which I actually found this out accidentally. Did you guys know that Keaton was originally not in talks, but WB and CW really wanted Keaton to play that Kingdom Come Batman for the CW, like the Crisis on Infinite Earth thing. There is a book running around that is a collection of all the stuff that they had planned for Crisis. I can't tell you the name of the book. I don't know. It's something CW related. I don't know how you get it. Think through like Warner's website or something like that. Some type of collection shows you all their plans that they had for Green Arrow. It shows you a actor that very clearly looks like Keaton in that exoskeleton that Kevin Conroy wore. And he was going to play the Batman of Earth 89. And they just kind of switched it around and turned Conroy's Batman into Earth 99, I believe, based on the year that Batman Beyond came out. So Keaton was supposed to be that Batman that Batwoman kills. And you could actually see the 89 Batmobile in the cave, as well as there was a lot of Batman memorabilia, and if Keaton actually signed on, they were going to do a lot more tributes to his character. And he would have had a longer role than Conroy, but, you know, he still probably would have ended up getting killed by Batwoman just the same. So I'm glad he, it never happened. They reached out to other Batman actors, like Kilmer and Bale as well, and they all said no. So they didn't get a chance to talk to Keaton, but they wanted to, which is interesting. I don't believe that some of the other trades that are saying that the Batman Beyond idea that they were considering for the CW or whatever would end up making it into theaters. I don't believe so. The fact that the Birds of Prey writer is considering it means it's going to go in a completely different direction. If you're familiar with Gal Simone's characterization of Batgirl, that's the kind of person that you could probably expect in this movie if they did it, which it's still not green-lighted yet, so people... I'm not ranting, I'm not panicking, I'm just telling people that it's a possibility. When the news first dropped a couple days ago, I thought about going right into the podcast right there, like, oh my gosh, no, this is a terrible idea. I love Babs, and I want Babs to have a movie, but this isn't it, WB. But I've had a couple days to calm down. I've had more things to read up on about it, and it sounds like it's a possibility, but it's a shot in the dark at this point. It's only if Keaton comes back and after he's had some time to do some multiverse roles after The Flash. Like, if he comes back and there's a big splash with this and it does really well, then yeah, Batman Beyond would be on the cards for like 5 years from now or 4 years from now, something like that. But if he does The Flash, it'll be really good. I think it'd be great to have him back. And it'd be a lot of fun. You going to calm down, Zelda, or are you just going to run around like a crazy person? My idea for a Batgirl movie still is the year one thing. I think that'd be fantastic. And if they want to lead in a Killing Joke later or something like more serious with her character to bring an Oracle, whatever, go for it. But you can't beat Batgirl year one. And it wouldn't really work well without Dick Grayson and some of the other characters that are in it. Which I believe was the idea years ago when they were, getting Whedon on board or whatever to do kind of like the Gal Simone New 52 with a mixture of year one. And they wanted to have other Bat characters show up. Which, as you know, with the Snyder Verse, it's not a possibility. In fact, very soon, they're going to bring back that clip with Wonder Woman asking Batman about the Robin suit. Whoa, Zelda, come on, girl. What are you doing? What are you doing? You want to be on the podcast that much? No, you can't. It's not happening. So yeah, just so people don't freak out. I'm not angry about this. If it happens, it happens. I just hope that they don't rush it and they don't rush the script, because Batman Beyond fans, a lot of them wouldn't be cool with Terry being sidelined like this, because coincidentally, if people are playing the whole like diversity card or whatever, women over dudes, Terry McGinnis is supposed to be half Asian. So, I mean, you could totally get an Asian actor to play Terry if they're trying to play that card, but they probably want to go with the strong female archetype because it did so well for Batwoman, which it really didn't. And I don't really want to make a video about the new casting, because I feel like Warner Brothers has been very clever this time around with their PR department. The fact that they brought in a person of color to play Batwoman means that if you criticize the film or the show in any capacity, then people on Twitter, on forums, on YouTube, wherever, don't play with the light. No. If you do that kind of stuff, like even if you have like constructive criticism, they're just going to label you a racist, because that's where we're at in 2020. They did the same thing with Starfire in the Titan show, which I actually thought she was good as Starfire, but whenever somebody brings up criticism, like immediately they're shot down on Twitter as racist. And I think that's very disgusting. I think that's not good to silence any form of criticism, because it doesn't really help the show out. You know what I mean? Zelda, be careful. See, this is why you guys get locked up, because you're crazy when I'm trying to talk. So yeah, no video will be made on the Batwoman announcement. That's not going to happen. So, how I would like them to approach Batman Beyond is keep it pretty simple. Like, do Terry's origin, what people are very familiar with. You know, it doesn't have to be just his dad that died. You could go the full Bruce Wayne route, and you could just wipe out both his parents. I also liked how in the Paul Dini and Dwayne McDuffie like version of the Batman Beyond character that they brought Phantasm involved into what his origin could have been. I think that's pretty cool. Like if they wanted to bring Phantasm back into the picture, but as far as I know, nobody's ever brought up Phantasm in any discussions for a live action role, other than something on the CW, which I don't know. I don't think that's good enough for Andrea Beaumont. That's just me. But I would definitely want them to keep to the whole future aspect of Batman Beyond. I think people are ready for that. People are itching for Spider-Man 2099, so if WB plays their cards right, they get a good director involved. They nail Keaton down, which is something people have been asking for 20 years, believe it or not. When Keaton was of age, they wanted to do a Batman Beyond movie, and when fans were talking to Keaton at conventions and stuff, past, we'll say about a decade or so, he's grown interested in the idea of coming back. He had a couple of provisions. Timmy had to be involved, so Tim Burton had to come back, and the script couldn't be crap. I don't know what type of person Keaton is. I mean, he had strong values in the 90s and walked away from Batman Forever, so I don't think that he would agree to a lot of the stuff that gets put into the Birds of Prey, writers' ideas if they go with her. Right now, that's the only person they're talking about, like, who's potentially interested in writing this Batman Beyond / Batgirl movie thing. So I would like to believe that Keaton isn't full-blown crazy like that. That he would still be like, no, the script is terrible, I'm not doing it. Or, I need to have some creative input. I mean, he's Batman, for crying out loud. The guy has to have some say in it if they bring him back. He can't just be like, oh, it's just a job, because they threw tons of money at him back in the 90s to get him to do Batman Forever. He showed up for the costume fitting, read the script again, and then he was gone because they weren't going to change anything. He said it was too much of like a joke. There were too many villains, too many plots, and it was a mess. And he was like, no, I don't want to be attached to this. He just walked. So I'm hoping that 68, 69-year-old Keaton, I think that's how old he is right now, maybe 67, that if he gets a hold of the script and he hates it, he either forces them to do, Batman's bidding, being like, okay, we need to have some common ground here. We need to bring in Timmy. We can do this and this. We can't do this. This isn't going to work. Because what you have to remember, when you bring in an actor like Keaton's caliber and you're also trying to combine that world, like, whatever happens with this Flash movie and this Batman Beyond movie, whatever, this is a continuation of the Burton Batman. 89, 1992, and then it stopped, and he did his own thing for the past, 30 years? So this will be connected to the legacy the same way that Mark Hamill's Star Wars roles, his future ones, were connected to Return of the Jedi and all those other movies, which kind of... it's a hit or miss. Some people like it, some people hate it. Whereas with the original trilogy, people loved Luke's performance, and they loved Luke Skywalker, and now today you actually have people, including Mark Hamill himself, who hates Luke Skywalker. So we don't want to go a very dangerous route with the storytelling or some of the man-hating aspects of some of cinema today, and bring Keaton's Batman back into that world. That would not be a service to his character. That would not be a service to Batman fans in their late 30s and 40s like myself. It would just be a mess. But there are ways that they could do this correctly. I fear with the executives that they have right now, it's a little terrifying because they have no checks and balances at all. But like I said, it's still an idea. It's not finalized yet. I wrote kind of like a synopsis of what's going on, but pretty much Barbara Gordon somehow ends up becoming Batgirl or Batgirl Beyond or whatever They're just throwing ideas against the wall, seeing what sticks. In the movie, I guess you would see Keaton as Batman for a little bit, not much, and then he retires, and his whole aspect of the Batman Beyond thing is he's training the new person, which is exactly what Batman Beyond is, but I think they need a different writer. I think they need the person who wrote Aquaman, and I would like, just hear me out. I don't know many directors, okay? But when I saw Atlantis, I thought, and just bear with me, okay? I thought the dude who directed Aquaman could make an amazing Batman Beyond movie. And I think Warner Brothers should ask him to do it. I think Tim Burton should be a producer. Hear me out. I know you guys love Tim Burton. Tim Burton's getting up there, though, and some of his movies are kind of... I think Juan would do a fantastic job in the world of Batman Beyond, because if you saw Atlantis looked like something out of sci-fi. It was cool. Just imagine what Neo Gotham would look like if he was the director and if he was the visionary behind it. Oh my gosh. That'd be sick. You know? Be incredible. I don't know if they could pull it off, if they could get him to do it, but yeah, why not? I don't know a lot of actors for things, so I don't know what age Terry would be or anything like that, but I was kind of spitballing in my head that originally, like, Chris McKay was looking for a lot of stunt people and a mix between, like, Romanian and Asian actors and stuff like that. I think that should be kind of like where they look for the Terry McGinnis character, if, you know, Terry's ever back on the books. I think that would be fantastic. Because I would like to see... Because remember, the Batsuit, like Terry's suit from the comics, he doesn't necessarily have all the acrobatic training that Bruce does. The suit that Bruce created in his golden years was supposed to make up for a lot of the physical qualities that Batman was lacking as time went on. It increased his strength by like 20-fold, increased his agility. The suit had certain things programmed into it that as long as the suit was running, you know, the person in the suit was Batman, essentially. At least that's how the comics told it. Like when the Batman Beyond comics came back into circulation about, 15 years ago now? Something like that, is when DC decided to kind of bring the Batman Beyond world to comics. Might have even been 10 years ago. I don't remember. I have some of the early issues of the relaunch. It was pretty good. But that's how they could kind of explain like all the really cool aspects of the Batman Beyond person being able to be as agile as they are. I don't know if they would do it in the movie, but it made sense in the comics why Bruce messed with the suit. Also, since the suit covers up the mouth and stuff like that, very easy to get stunt doubles in, and you don't have to really worry about stuff. If they do go with a younger male actor or whatever, one thing I really don't want to see happen in the Batman Beyond movie is just, it's a trait that I'm sick of seeing, like, characters that have full masks. Whenever they get too much battle damage near the end of the movie, the mask comes off. I know they do that for screen time for the actor or whatever, but I don't want to see Terry's mask come off to like Blight or one of the villains in the movie, because it's like, not only will they know his secret identity, which will ruin future movies. Save that for the third movie, for when the mask comes off. I think it would be like much more dramatic, and it would be more impactful to the audience because you get to know this person over a trilogy or whatever, you know? Instead of just like every movie, the mask comes off and there's tears. I'm sorry, Tobey. I love Tobey Maguire. But Tobey Maguire set a precedent for Spider-Man characters with their masks coming off and waterworks and, you know, bruised faces and stuff like that. That needs to stop. It's no more. No more of that. We don't need that. If you want to do some battle damage where his mask gets a little damaged and you can see like a human eye under it, cool, fine, okay. But let's stop with the whole removing of the cowl thing until a really emotional moment, like later on in the movies. Like something that's going to be of worth to people watching it. Not just something like, okay, here's the part where he's going to reveal to the villain to try to show him that he is a real person. Here comes the mask. Here comes the sappy music. And character death now. Roll credits. I don't want to see that anymore. So that's just no, that's gone. Don't do that. Don't do that anymore. I don't know if they'll continue doing that, but I'm just saying this is what I would do for my Batman Beyond movie. It was I would do giving Terry closure to finding his family's killer, because if this is connected to the Keaton universe, technically yes, Batman got closure when he killed Joker, technically, but they were going to build up on that in Batman 2, which I read the script for you guys like years ago, where Batman was kind of haunted by killing Joker, which would have led into later Schumacher's Batman Triumphant, which originally was going to be Batman 3, kind of, with Joker kind of haunting Batman. So they were going to bring Nicholson back and stuff like that. So even though Batman killed, people in Batman 89, the plan was to kind of have the Joker's death be more of a haunting aspect to that Batman. I don't know if it's something they could bring back for Batman Beyond with Keaton, because, I mean, he showed no remorse dropping Joker off the cathedral. He did it. He moved on. He never brings it up again. He looks like he's doing so much better in Batman Returns. He's more jokey and just whatever. Like, that stuff had no pull for him. But in the second movie, they were going to have like more of a traumatic, like mental aspect of what killing Joker was. And then as Timmy was doing the movies, Tim was going to do 4 Batman movies in total. Batman Forever was going to have like a Riddler character, but it wasn't going to be Jim Carrey. Robin Williams was discussed with Tim to do that, and another guy. And they weren't going the Frank Gorson route. They were going to make Riddler kind of like a serial killer. A very, Batman Returns, Batman 89 serial killer. Don't think of anything like Silence of the Lambs or Hannibal or anything like that. Not that type of 90s serial killer. Like, Riddler kills people in death traps, and it would have been, I don't know, necessarily dark for Williams, but it would have been cool to see, I guess. But of course, we got the cartoon Riddler. But whatever. So, like, I don't know how you would tie that aspect of Terry being able to get revenge at a young age, which Bruce had to wait till he was much, much older, because if they go back to that, 89 universe or whatever, Keaton didn't care about killing Joker or really anybody. So, I mean, that's the problem sometimes with bringing somebody like Keaton back. I think if Val Kilmer wasn't a whale now, maybe he could be back as Batman Beyond if, Keaton says no. I don't believe they're even talking to Kilmer, though. Supposedly they approached Bale, and Bale was like, no, I'm not doing this. Bale doesn't even want a cameo in the multiverse. Like, I think that Nolan and Bale are okay with, like, a Batman, like, character showing up in, like, the Flash multiverse movie or, like, a future multiverse cameo. But their Batman is gone. There's no reprisal. There's no anything. It's just done. So the only older living actors that you have that would even bother to do this would be Keaton, who's kind of on board. Kilmer wasn't even approached. And I'm not saying the other one because I don't think anybody's talking to Clooney. And they shouldn't. Because we don't want Batman and Robin canon again. No, it's gone. It never happened. Each movie, as Schumacher put it, Tim's movies are kind of like their separate world. Batman Forever is kind of a separate world because Val Kilmer was a different Batman. And Batman and Robin was a toy commercial. So we don't need that world to come back. I'm not going to razz on Keaton too much. I tend to do that quite a bit. Or not Keaton, sorry, Clooney. Sorry, Clooney. I'm not going to rag on the guy. I know that he was working ER, the show, and filming Batman at the same time. He was a new kid on the set, and pretty much he let the director do whatever they wanted. He had no input. He didn't use his star power. He just showed up. He had fun filming the movie and didn't understand Batman at all. Like, he was a big fan of the Adam West show. He never watched, when he was younger, the Keaton movies because he just liked 60s Batman. So that's what he did, 60s Batman. And I've told you guys before that pretty much the movies that we've seen with Batman, they all follow a certain formula of comics years. So Batman 89 is 1939, Bob Kane and Bill Finger Batman. Batman Returns is based after Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil's 90s Detective Comics Batman. Batman Forever is the 1940s with the introduction of Robin. Batman and Robin is 60s camp. Batman Begins, or the Dark Knight trilogy, is, again, also Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil with the 70s or Bronze Age Batman. And then, of course, BVS is Frank Miller's Batman. And supposedly, the Batman, Matt Reeves, is going to be based after the late 90s, 2000s Batman. So it could be a mixture of Jim Lee's stuff. Could be a mixture of Loeb's. All depends. If they're using Long Halloween, then it's definitely Loeb. But that's just whatever. So yeah, I don't know how my Batman Beyond movies would work because I would want to give Terry closure, which is something that Bruce really never got if you go with the animated universe. But if they're combining the Keaton universe, I'm kind of out of ideas. I think that you should get a writer that is familiar with the Burton-esque Batman and incorporate that character into the script. That playful Bruce Wayne and that kind of crazy murderous Batman. If you try to add a lot of human elements to Keaton's Batman, it's not going to work as well because that's not the Batman we saw. He was that cane finger murderous Batman when he needed to be. He was a Batman that could pull the trigger, and just like his counterpart, I mean, he didn't go around carrying guns, but he had guns in his car. So you need to find somebody who would enjoy writing that kind of Batman back into modern movies for The Flash and, the Batman Beyond project and some other stuff. Because if you're bringing Keaton back, immediately people are going to think, okay, this is 89 Batman again, and this guy kicks butt, and he doesn't take crap from anybody. And it's like, oh yeah, he doesn't. If you even look at him funny, he's going to throw you down a bell shaft. I can tell you honestly that I don't know how to use Keaton. His Batman is so far out there that the people that wrote him in the 80s and 90s, they understand what Tim and Keaton wanted. I have a feeling that if the Birds of Prey writer does stuff, then Keaton is going to come off as kind of like this fossil character that just kind of either quit after Batman Returns or just, I don't know, doesn't really care about anything. Not necessarily in hiding like we had Bale's Batman in Dark Knight Rises, but just kind of like mostly doing stuff as Bruce Wayne, maybe going out once in a while as Batman. I'd be curious to how they would do the human element with Keaton's Batman, because while he has shown the most human aspects of his character, like showing fear, like smiling in the bat suit. Yep, that happened. He was the most normal guy Batman that we ever had, and a lot of people love that version of Batman. Whereas some of the later ones, they saw Bruce Wayne as kind of a tragic figure that wasn't a real person. He was a mess psychologically. That's how Kilmer played it. Batman was who he was. Bruce Wayne is who he was pretending to be. Bale did the same thing. Bruce Wayne was the mask. Batman was the real identity. Kevin Conroy did the same thing. And Keaton, basically how he said it in a 89 interview, his Batman is a guy who puts on a suit and he goes to work. And when he comes home, he takes off the suit and he's just him. But, when he's out there, you don't mess with the guy. And it's just, you can take that how you want. So, trying to add too many emotional aspects to the Batman Beyond movie, I don't think would work too well. I don't know. the more I talk about this, I don't know how this is going to work very well. But I'm sure if they get a talented person involved, they could probably do it. I would just stick to the source material. Barbara Gordon, she's never been introduced yet, and apparently in the Snyder universe, she's among the dead of like Bruce's allies or whatever. Um, But I mean, that's all going to be soft rebooted anyway. I mean, they can do whatever they want. They need to bring these characters back. They need Babs back. They need Nightwing back. They need Jason Todd. I mean, there is no Jason Todd or Tim Drake or Damian in this universe that Snyder created because there was going to be Carrie Kelly as Robin. There was no long-term plans at all. I mean, I guess the plan was always Flashpoint anyway, because they always talk about Flashpoint this, Flashpoint that. So you would have had Snyder's 1, 2, and 3 Justice League, and then Flashpoint. So, I mean, I guess if DC and Warner Brothers actually would have been patient with Zack, even though I don't like the guy, personally, they probably wouldn't have inherited as big of a mess as they do now, because I'm just scratching my head trying to figure out how the Flash thing is going to work, if it's just the Flash hanging out in Burton's Batman universe, and then Batman ends up being the Batman of the DC that's somehow connected to the 89 films, and then instead of going the route of the comics where he trains a young protege, he's going to train a Barbara Gordon that is not going to be the Barbara Gordon that you guys are familiar with. She's not going to be the fun-loving Babs that everybody loves. She's going to be probably a pretty hated character like Brie Larson or Ruby Rose as Batwoman. Like, they're going to use that archetype of a woman to put in the movie. And it's not that, you know, guys hate the idea of a female lead. Nobody said anything in the Aliens movies. Nobody said anything when Xena was on television. So I don't get their argument with that kind of stuff. Or Terminator. Nobody had any problems with Sarah Connor, or Sigourney Weaver and Ghostbusters or any of that. There have been females kicking butt in movies for a long time without that extra push of trying to demonize men or, you know, other people in their films. So just based on what I saw the Birds of Prey movie, I kind of got the feeling that the writer of Birds of Prey and the director didn't really care for a lot of the male characters. You know, going from like the landlord and Black Mask and all the other guy characters in the film. It would have been nice if they actually had Gordon in the movie. I think that might have like balanced things a little bit easier. Because it was like a chick action movie, pretty much. Like, I can't really think of any major guy roles in that movie that really stuck out to me as like important. They were just kind of throwaway characters, easily killed off, as you saw with Sionis. Sorry, spoilers. He had a blast though. Oh my gosh. I don't know. I had a feeling that the Birds of Prey writer was the person who did the Transformers Bumblebee movie, though, wasn't she? Am I wrong in that assumption, or is it somebody else? Is the Birds of Prey writer the same lady who did Bumblebee, like the Transformers movie? Because that was brilliant. I don't know what happened with Birds of Prey or some of her other writing, if it's the same lady, but can you guys... I hope Batgirl happens in the Snyderverse. I think J.K. Simmons can be great as a fatherly Gordon. It is her? Wow. What happened? I mean, I don't understand what happened. Like, why? Maybe just because of Margot Robbie and the director, like, changing aspects of the script, because Bumblebee was fantastic. I was also very excited when this lady picked up Batgirl after Whedon left. Like, she even said, I'm going for the Batgirl Year One thing. And then I guess she started writing Birds of Prey, and they started to spearhead that really, really fast, because she was very excited about doing Batgirl Year One. I remember that interview. I don't know how people can change that quickly. That's kind of scary. Because I think her original ideas for Batgirl was pretty awesome. But I don't think it would work in a Batman Beyond setting. No way. And I think that if Warner Brothers decides against having Batgirl in the Batman Beyond movie, they still need to give Batgirl her own solo movie because people have been asking for that for a long time too. Although, to be fair, people have been asking for a Batman Beyond movie since, like, oh my gosh, it's got to be 25 years now. And the movie, it keeps getting shelved. Like, did you guys know, like, shortly after 9/11, or kind of before there, they were actually already planning on rebooting the Batman franchise before it got into Nolan's hands in 2004, 2005. Like, when he started his pre-production, like, '04. And then, you know, the movie came out '05, stuff like that. They were actually going to do Batman Beyond because they were trying their best to distance themselves from what Schumacher did with Batman and Robin. They had two movie projects that they were bouncing back and forth. A Batman Year One movie. I forget who the writers were, but I know that. There was a Batman Year One movie, and there was a Batman Beyond movie. And the Batman Beyond movie almost got green-lighted, and then Nolan came on board, and he was like, I'm doing my own thing. I like the Batman Year One thing, but I'm not doing that. I'm going to do some stuff, and you're going to love it. And we did. But the Batman Year One movie and the Batman Beyond movie both got shelved. Although, technically, Batman Begins is Batman Year One, since he uses Batman Year One as inspiration for the movie, The Man Who Falls, which is also heavily influenced in the Batman Begins movie, which is, I believe, a Denny O'Neil story, Neil Adams illustration from the 1970s. And there was one other, not necessarily The Long Halloween, there was a other thing that was involved with that. Partially some Frank Miller-ish stuff, but all in all, it came out working well. So, I just hope that the idea improves. I think that the executives have a lot of potential. I think Jim Lee has some really cool ideas. I think that they should really approach James Wan to direct it, because I'm sure he could bring some amazing ideas to the table. I don't know about you, but I can't really think of a lot of directors that could probably bring that futuristic Neo-Gotham to light, especially after seeing what they did with Atlantis. I don't know about you guys, but when I heard Atlantis was going to be a big role in the Aquaman movie, I was skeptical. I was like, it's Atlantis. It's an underwater city. What are they going to do? It's already been done. I mean, there's no way that you can make Atlantis cool. It's just a set piece. It's where Aquaman lives. And then I saw it and I was just like, shut up, me. Watch this. And it was like, I don't know. I was blown away by it. It was like, this is Atlantis? This is DC Comics Atlantis. Holy crap. How'd they do that? I mean, yeah, looking back, it kind of felt like maybe James Wan borrowed some inspiration from Star Wars Episode 2, where Obi-Wan and Anakin are in that ship flying through some alien city. But, I mean, that alien city didn't look anywhere near as cool as Atlantis. Atlantis became like this own entity. So I hope that in future Aquaman movies we get to see more of sci-fi Atlantis, because it makes sense that their technology would be as advanced as it is. So I would want to see Neo-Gotham like that. I would like Keaton to be like a very old Batman. And I don't want him to retire after Batman Returns, because that's too easy. I like the idea that Michelle Pfeiffer is open to the idea of coming back, and some of the other... Well, no, the other villains can't. Somebody needs to remind Danny DeVito he's dead. Nicholson is dead. You know? They can't come back. They're gone. Michelle Pfeiffer, as far as I know, she's the only Bat villain that survived the Burton films. Both Penguin and Joker are worm food. They have been. So, I mean, other than just like... I don't know, maybe haunting Bruce or something like that, but that's kind of dumb. I don't really see how that's going to help. I think that they could take some elements from the Batman 2 script, where Bruce Wayne is kind of acting like this father figure to the Dick Grayson character, and make that kind of like a fatherly role for Terry after Terry loses all his family. And really go with that. I'd love to see what they would do with Blight. I think that'd be awesome because he is the nemesis of Terry. I don't know if they'll do it because maybe the idea of a nuclear guy running around is not the best idea, but he's a bad guy, so I mean, I don't think anyone would care too much. I mean, I guess you could change how he gets his powers, but I don't think anyone's going to care. He's a man of living energy that's radioactive. It's a very, very bad guy. I would like to see a lot of Keaton in the movie, like dealing with what's going on with Wayne's family life. As you remember from the Batman Beyond universe, he's kind of like a fossil, and the city isn't treating him too well. That Derek Powers guy is trying to buy out. Well, technically, he did buy Wayne Enterprises and called it Wayne Powers, and he's doing everything he can to take the company away from Bruce Wayne and do illegal things with it, like weapons production, what do they call that? Chemical warfare stuff that is against the Geneva Convention. Like, pretty much everything that Bruce hated, that's what they were going to do with the Wayne Powers Corporation. And that played a big role into not only Batman essentially coming back with Terry, but Bruce Wayne also showing Gotham that he still cares, and he still cares about his family's company, and he's not okay with all this stuff, and he comes back into the picture and does some stuff like that. Just like, I really liked the boardroom elements of Batman Begins, and I don't really remember seeing a lot of that in The Dark Knight. Like, I feel like that kind of moments work when you can see two sides to the character. Like, you can see their vigilante side, but also the humanitarian or like their business side. And those never felt like slow parts of the movie for me. I loved Lucius Fox, the times we actually got to see him, and I enjoyed a lot of the Wayne stuff. I thought it was very fitting of his character. And I'd like to see more of that with Keaton, because if you remember Batman Returns, Bruce Wayne didn't show up that much. Like, the first movie, 89 Batman showed up every once in a while. But in Batman Returns, he was in the suit a lot more, but he didn't talk a lot, which is fine. Batman doesn't talk. Keaton did a lot of like body language and shadowy appearances and driving around in the Batmobile, watching Oswald do his stuff. And Bruce Wayne acted kind of aloof a little bit. Not crazy, but just very like reserved. I believe he visits. Yeah, he does visit, what's his name? What's that guy's name? Give me a second. No, that's not it. Walken. And he did some interesting things with the Walken thing, but it just, I don't know. I love the Alfred moments. I thought that was fun, but we didn't really get to see enough of Bruce. We saw a lot of Danny DeVito and a lot of Michelle Pfeiffer and a lot of Batman, but Bruce Wayne was kind of like not in it as much as I thought he was going to be, I guess. Because I wanted to see more of that jokey aspect that we had with Alfred and Keaton in those movies. But of course that Alfred is gone, and Alfred would not play a big role in Keaton coming back either. Like, I would like a nice... You know what they did with the Indiana Jones movies, where they paid tribute like to actors who had either retired or passed away, and they gave a nod to those characters? I would like, if Keaton comes back, that Commissioner Gordon and like Alfred and some other people get like a nod, or Keaton does something that just brings light to the old cast. I like when those nostalgic moments happen, and I think the fans do too. I think people like like the sentimentality of that. I do. I don't know what you guys feel about that, but I think that'd be kind of nice. But will there be soup? There needs to be soup. Batman needs to eat soup. I agree with that. It would be worth showing Bruce's health conditions. I agree. Like, why did Batman give up being Batman in the Batman Beyond movie that they're considering? Is it the same reason? No, it can't be the same reason. Holy cow. No, it can't. He has no problem killing people. Batman's whole reason for doing the whole Batman Beyond thing was he almost shot somebody and said never again when he was having a heart attack. So, how do you do it with Keaton? You can't use that aspect unless this is an all new Batman and you're just. But the problem is, if you do like an all new Batman, when older people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who saw Keaton when they were teenagers or little ones, that's their Batman. And seeing him come back would just blow people's minds. But how do you incorporate one of the biggest aspects of Bruce's character arc from Batman to Batman Beyond, the reason why he quits? What would you do with Keaton? Like, maybe Michelle Pfeiffer dies or something? But, I mean, then you're doing the whole refrigerator thing, and that's stupid. I don't like it when female or family members are killed in order to propel that character forward. I feel like they can do other things. But, I mean, it has to be something monumental. I don't know what it would be. I really don't, because you can't use the, oh no, I killed someone, because, I mean, that's like every other Saturday for Keaton. I mean, he blew up Axis Chemicals. He lit a guy on fire. He stuffed a bomb in a dude's pants and tossed him into, like, a ditch. And he smiled when he did it. This is a sadistic killer Batman. So what is his reason for quitting? Are the executives even thinking about this? How is this going to work? How are you going to incorporate this? It doesn't compute. It doesn't work. Maybe Kilmer's Batman, yeah. And maybe Bale, but Bale said no way. So if you're going for that older Batman actor, there's only really one choice right now. All right, I'm going to open the floor to you guys. How would you make it work? What is the reason that Keaton's Batman retires and says never again, when his entire Batman was just a guy who put on a suit and went out and fought crime for, good reasons, and then came home and was just, clocking out for the night, sleeping upside down like a bat? What is his reason for quitting? I will talk about the best answer. Go now. What is his reason? Why does he quit? Why does he quit? I'm at a loss. Becomes defeated? Kilmer blew up a bunch of cars and thugs in it. Yeah, technically. Have Kevin Conroy play old Bruce. Gets defeated. Thanos. Heart attack and other health problems. He got a civilian killed. Ooh. Ooh, I like that. I could see that. I could see the civilian. Or maybe a civilian died because he was having a heart attack. Wait, no. We don't know if Batman cares about civilian lives. Wait, no. Yes, he does. Let me retract that. Hang on. Let me go back in my mind. He races to the scene as quickly as he can and does steal the Joker's balloons that are putting cyanide in the crowd, but a lot of civilians die. Hundreds die. He does arrive on the scene when the circus gang is attacking people. He saved Michelle Pfeiffer, killed the dude with the back grapple. He saved the children. Yeah, okay, yep, I can see that. Yes, a civilian dies that Bruce is trying to save. He has a heart attack, and he gives up being Batman. That works. Okay. Catwoman rejects him. Catwoman rejects him, and he lives in solitude. Nah, that's cheesy. Maybe. Bane breaking his back would be interesting. Ooh, Robin gets killed. Ah, yeah. Too old to continue to be in the field. I like that idea. I like the idea of a civilian dying. Because remember, all right, let's talk about this. So in Batman Beyond, the first episode, Bruce Wayne is trying to rescue the president's daughter, I believe, or some type of like important dignitary in the future United States or whatever. And he does succeed. He saves her life, but he almost kills somebody. What if Keaton's Batman, in his new suit, whatever, goes to the same warehouse scene that you're familiar with, but with a twist? The civilian that he's trying to save gets killed while he's having the heart attack. And then you can still have that iconic moment where he's outside the warehouse gasping for breath and he pulls off his mask and he's like, never again. That could work. Somebody get Kevin Smith on that. Ooh, get Kevin Smith to write this. Kevin Smith loves Batman Beyond. Somebody get Kevin. That's who WB needs. They need James Wan to direct this, and they need Kevin Smith to write this. That's who would be my dream team. That's who I would pick. Kevin Smith would go crazy. That'd be awesome. He tries to save a train with kids in Vicky Vale, and it fails. Oh my gosh, that is dark. That's too dark. Ooh. Now you're getting into Burton territory there. I don't think the media and critics would love having a bunch of kids die, though. You can't go that far. That's a bit. I mean, that would not go over well with today's Twitter landscape and the Twitter Puritans and stuff like that. That would be bad. A bunch of children get killed in the movie. DC is still taking hits for what they did to Teen Titans and Justice League Paradox, or Justice League Apocalypse War. No. Get a new actor to play him. No, you can't do it. He quit because he saw his new suit with the pat nipples. You're banned. It's a senator. Ooh, I like that. So the civilian actually was somebody of significance. Okay. All right. You got me. I'm sold. All right. I like this pitch. I like where we're going with this. Okay. And WB, if you're listening, feel free to use this. This is great stuff. I like this. Okay, so Bruce Wayne, we'll say he's about 55. 55, 57 years old. The movie begins... The last appearance that we saw of his Dark Knight was 1992. So let's say that his Batman movie, Batman Beyond, begins in the year 2009. We'll do that. His movie begins in 2009. He is at a warehouse trying to rescue a senator. Now, we don't know who that senator is. Could be a guy or girl. Doesn't matter. The same thing happens. Batman Beyond... Beyond Batman is kicking a lot of butt, takes down all the people, and as he's ready to take down the final guy and he's smirking, because you got to have that Keaton smirk, all of a sudden he gets hit with a heart attack. You see this from his point of view, too. You can hear Batman's heart racing. You can hear somebody on the comms talking to him, monitoring him, and he's blacking out, and, the senator is in big trouble. He's got the gun to their head or whatever, whatever they're doing, and Batman is saying no, and then you hear bang, and then when Batman wakes up, not only is the goon gone, but the senator is dead, and the world blames Batman. So now we've incorporated elements from Frank Miller's run of his Dark Universe and incorporated some Batman Beyond stuff, and Batman survives, leaves, takes off the mask, and then the movie fast forwards to the year, we'll say 2020, I don't know, 4? Whatever the movie comes out. And then you meet, you have to shift from Bruce Wayne, and you go to a young Terry McGinnis, causing trouble, being the delinquent that he is. Who knows? Maybe, stealing from an ATM, getting in a fight with his dad. Whatever. He's a punk. He doesn't have anything good in his life yet. He hasn't met his girlfriend in high school. Any of that stuff. This is Terry that's a mess. His parents are divorced. He's not the best record when it comes to the law, and he's just, a pain in the butt to his family. And over the course of the movie, he's going to change. So we'll take the origin of Batman Beyond, we'll place it in there. We're going to bring back the Jokers, because I think the Jokers are an important element for the first movie. The Jokers are a gang, and Terry has some involvement with the Jokers, and they end up at Wayne Manor, and Terry's going to show that he has, like, some type of, humanity to him. Like, we shouldn't be here, there's a crazy old man that lives here, and these guys are going to break in, and they're going to go hurt Mr. Wayne or something, and Terry stands up to them. No. Keaton comes out, cleans house with his cane, and we see some of his health problems, and Terry helps him into the house. Pretty much plays the same. Now, because Terry's a thief, when he sets down Bruce or whatever, and Bruce takes a nap because he's old, or maybe he makes the audience think he's sleeping, who knows. Terry will break into the Batcave, steal the suit, go for a joyride, and then, Keaton will reel him in, tell him, you stole my suit, kid, flip the switch, and bring Terry, back or whatever. And then you're going to have to incorporate the aspect where the Jokers are mad at Terry, thinking that, he betrayed them, and the Jokers kill his dad, who, Terry deep down loved his dad, right? But they didn't get along too well, but he is devastated that his dad is dead, because no one wants their parent killed from crime like that. And Terry wants to become Batman now. He's had a taste of the suit, had his joyride. He wants to bring the people to justice who did this. And you could have some conspiracy stuff related to people like to paint, big business as like a huge criminal. So you bring in Derek Powders as the guy who is controlling the Jokers, and you tie it to the organized crime and all that other stuff. And you could have a pretty interesting movie. Kevin Smith or somebody else could iron out the details. That'd be a lot of fun. I think it would. I think it would be a mixture of some very dark elements. The senator being killed, the father being killed, the Jokers being like a really bad gang that are delinquents and very dangerous. They kill people. They destroy public property. They're basically mob violence. You incorporate that. And you have your kind of like supervillain, Derek Powers, but I don't believe that he should become Blight in the first movie. I think that he should survive his first encounter with Terry, and over the course of either the second or the third movie, he becomes Blight. I think that'd be awesome. Because I feel like in these origin movies, they kind of rush the villain stepping into that, iconic role. And I think they need to slow down a little bit. And it's okay to introduce Derek Powers as the man behind the throne, the dude with the power that's causing the criminal element of Gotham to do its thing. But I think it would be way too soon in the first movie for him to become that really nasty supervillain with powers that Terry's going to struggle fighting against. I think you save that for the second movie or a third movie. That's how I would do it. And then it'd be kind of cool. What if Bruce tries to stop a family from being mugged and like his parents, but he has a heart attack and the family dies? Holy crap, that's dark. Oh my gosh. Bringing it full circle. Ooh, you guys. I gave you guys the canvas and you're just going crazy with this. Holy cow. Ooh, I don't know. Oh my gosh. Wow. The kid too? The kid survives? The kid's gone too? The whole family's wiped out? Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, I don't know. That's oof. Ooh. Bruce learns to be a more open person throughout this trilogy. That's not dark enough. Oh my gosh. I still think the original gun idea could work. It's not that he was going to kill a man. It's the fact that he would do it with a handgun, the instrument of his parents' demise. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I see you playing some... Wait, no. We've already seen that Keaton doesn't have any problems using guns. So that doesn't work. I would be all for it. I would think that'd be great. But if they tried to do that imagery in that scene, it wouldn't work because, I mean, the man's got 60 caliber machine guns hooked up to his Batmobile and his Batplane. He has no problems turning villains into Swiss cheese with, massive rounds. At one point in the movie, Batman was going to have a sidearm. There was somebody at DC that did not allow it to happen, but in one of the storyboards for the 89 Batman movie, just like the 1940s and 39 Batman, Keaton's Batman was going to have a gun. So, yeah, I don't think that would work. Some things aren't going to translate well from the comics and the animated show. You just have to remember that. It's not going to work too well. Some of it will. Don't get me wrong. Some of it will work great. But, I mean, you got to up the stakes for film. So, dead senator, Batman's fault, media blames him. I got to admit, I kind of like the idea of him doing a routine patrol, trying to save a family that's being mugged, and he fails, and the entire family dies. I mean, that's DC kind of dark. So, I don't think people would really be happy of a kid being killed. I think that would kind of like get the wrong group of people talking about your movie and trying to like cancel the film because of like violence against minors or something like that. I don't know. All kinds of headaches. I think the kid should survive, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it would be more impactful if the whole family died, though. Oh my gosh, I'm thinking horrible things. Gosh. Keaton Multiverse travels and ends up in Adam West Batman world, and West Batman thinks Keaton Batman is a villain, and they fight. Keaton loses and gets returned home by the Monitor. Adam West Batman beats up Keaton? I'm gonna say no. As much as I like Adam West Batman, no, it wouldn't work. No. Oh, no. You have to really think about that. I mean, they've even said, like, Burton, he said that his Batman was a martial arts whiz. And they showed several different martial arts styles for Keaton's Batman in that movie. And they kind of shied away from any real hardcore martial arts in Batman Returns. There was a lot of gadget usage. Batman was very creative with how he killed people. But the first movie, he does, fight pretty decently. And he also has some pretty lethal gadgets with him. I don't think Adam West Batman would know what would hit him. Because Adam West Batman was just a boxer, pretty much. I mean, very talented boxer, don't get me wrong, but Keaton's Batman is supposed to have elements of some year one into it. And as far as I know, he uses at least 4 different martial arts styles in the movie. So, I mean, he has enough cool moves in his toolbox that he could disarm a lot of different Batmen, probably. Maybe not Bale's Batman, though. Except he does have that killer edge. I don't know. If you have the killer instinct, it's harder. Yeah, this is a podcast, people, so there's no gameplay, really. Sometimes there's gameplay at the end of the cast when I open up the floor. This is just kind of me talking to you guys without as many distractions as possible. The cats are all sleeping now, so it's a lot easier for me to talk. But yeah, this is a podcast. Gotham City is just a backdrop. It adds atmosphere to my words. Because Gotham is always rainy and thunder and lightning, and, it's very atmospheric. I like it. I love it. Arkham Knight is perfect for podcasts. Do you know who is playing Babs? Nope, nobody knows. The kid survives, and it is Terry! Woo! I like it. So the 8-year-old survives, and then years later, Bruce runs into Terry again when he's a teenager. Comes full circle. Okay, I could see that working. That'd be fun to write because Terry would secretly hate Batman for failing, but maybe grow to understand that he couldn't be Batman forever. I don't know. That would be a very emotional roller coaster. I think rescue of the Catwoman would be the reason to provoke a heart attack too. Yeah. Arkham Knight still looks pretty with all the rain. Yeah, it does. Brilliant. What is your favorite Batman movie? Mask of the Phantasm. Do you think we'll get a Batman Telltale Season 3? It's possible. Batman Beyond Universe's Joker still alive? No. There's no guarantee it will be a Terry McGinnis movie, though. Yeah, that's true. Imagine for the post-credits scene with one of the Joker product victims survives, but he now looks identical to the Joker, and the person was named Tim Drake. Nah. What do you think about the Batwoman casting, Luke? Seems like they did so anyone who criticized her could... Yeah, other CW shows. So let's circle back. You guys are bringing up some interesting points about some other stuff. Yeah, we tend to go off topic sometimes. Thanks for keeping me on track. Yeah. I have no idea when the Black Widow movie is coming out. They would license out the use of the character, but Microsoft wouldn't get distribution rights for the video games. No. So some people reporting on that are very, very wrong. It's not true. But like I said, there's some truth to things. It's just there's not enough information for me to make a very long video on it just yet. I could easily rush out and be like, okay, all right, let's make a 10-minute video talking about this, but I really can't yet because I don't have all the facts. I don't know why 2K wanted it. I don't know why EA or Activision. Microsoft, you kind of know. You know, they're really hurting for story-driven exclusives. Sony has a lot of campaign-based games. A lot of them. Microsoft, not as many. So if they were to get like Mortal Kombat or Batman, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, whatever, Rocksteady stuff, WB Games, Montreal, then they would have those, you know, campaign experiences. But it's still not final yet. So I would like to gather more materials before we look at this like more objectively, if that's okay. If we could still circle back to the Batman Beyond stuff, I was talking about some of your guys' ideas. I mean, we were kind of wrapping up what was going on with how we were doing the movie, and then with my ADD, trailed off into something that, yes, very passionate about, very concerned about, because it's happened to me. I've had people try to come after me in the past, and it could easily happen again. So just answering people's questions can sometimes take us down the rabbit hole. I mean, I don't trust most people anyway because I've seen the dirty side of YouTube. It's not as happy as people think it is, which is why I'm writing a book when I'm like 45. AT&T with no games. Luke, are you doing the Paper Mario game? Yes, but that is something different. That's on a different channel. The only things that you guys have to look forward to on here is we did a poll yesterday on Twitter, and I asked you guys if you wanted Arkham Origins. And people said yes. Then I looked into Arkham Origins today, and I remembered that my PS3 blew up. So I don't have access to the Nightfall skin and the Adam West skin, which is something I really, really wanted to do a series on, like wearing the Nightfall skin the whole time. Can't do that. So my options are to play Arkham Origins on the PS4 or to play it on the Wii U. And whatever option I decide, there won't be any music because the composer is going around for the past several years purposely flagging channels with either copyright strikes or copyright claims. And I love his music. I think Christopher Drake is an amazing composer, but I think he's gone a little batty the past 3 or 4 years now that he's been doing this. And it's kind of the reason why I shied away from streaming Arkham Origins. But I had a bunch of people, some friends, like AV and some other people say, yeah, you should, totally stream this. It was actually fun watching your Batflex stream. I was like, really? People really like that? Okay. Well, I guess. I mean, but I don't want to copy anybody else. There's so many other channels that are doing marathons of Arkham. I don't want to be accused of copying, because that's kind of how things spiral out of control with the Arkham community. They're very, very judgy. So I don't want to be accused of anything. So I was kind of scaling back when I saw people like making announcements for doing full-blown series leading up to Gotham Knights reveal August 22nd. I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, and, potentially tear down a friendship or something like that. So I've kind of been shying away from different things. Arkham City is the best one, yeah. That's kind of why I was going to Blackgate. No, my PC didn't blow up. My PS3. So, do you guys remember... How many of you guys are from the other channel? I'll assume some of you are. So, on the other channel, we were recording a Spider-Man game on the PS3. I don't remember which one it was. It was a PS3 Spider-Man game that was... how many years ago was that? I wasn't living in Boston anymore. It was in... Yeah. I think it was here. I think it was in this house. Yeah, because the smoke alarm went off. And the smoke alarm here, I hate it. It's very loud. It's like a... It's like one of those. So, we were recording Spider-Man. I can't tell you which one it was. It might have been Web of Shadows. It might have been Shattered Dimensions. It doesn't matter. So we were recording it, and the PS4 or PS3 started to make like a pop noise. Like a crackle noise, like when electricity is having problems. So as we were playing it, we're doing our thing. Amber and I are sitting here, and all of a sudden it went crack, 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 and then went whoosh, and there was like a little bit of smoke coming off the PS3. And immediately I ran downstairs and I shut off the surge, or the, what do you call it? What is that thing? The box, the thing that has the electricity through it. Because I didn't want to go toward the surge protector or whatever and risk getting electrocuted. So I went into the basement, which I hate going down in the basement because my cats are terrible down there. They miss the box. So I ran down there with my thing. I went to the fuse box, shut off the electricity upstairs, grabbed the... we didn't have a fire extinguisher here, and it wasn't catching fire yet, but I took the system and I put it outside so that the smoke can go whatever, because I'm always concerned when plastic starts smoking, because with my we'll say with my illness, I tend to research things that I shouldn't know about. So I know that plastic, when it burns, it creates cyanide. So I was kind of freaking out, and I grabbed the system and I ran outside, and I held my breath, and I let the system smoke outside for several hours till it stopped. And then I took it to a game store like a few days later, and they told me that, yeah, the system was dead, but they were able to do something where they took some parts out of it, and they put it in a new PS3, and it kind of worked, but I can't get any HDMI from it. So there's no really reason to use that system anymore, which the only reason I haven't thrown it out completely, even though it's kind of like a Frankenstein system and it's not even under warranty anymore because it's parts of my old PS3 in the shell of a new PS3 or newer one. I don't want to get rid of it because it has like the Manhattan game on there, the Turtles, the really weird Turtles PSN games that you can't get anymore. I had like a weird 3D Earthworm Jim game, a bunch of really weird stuff. This was my PS3 when I was a game journalist. So, I mean, it's got stuff on there you can't get anymore. So, I mean, I pretty much had to have my friend do whatever they could to save my PS3 because it's got a lot of cool stuff on there. No, it doesn't work the same way anymore, and I don't want to try to find my old Hopage or whatever to try to stream off that thing. So I don't technically have a PS3 that we can use for that. So I lost all my Arkham stuff. I still have my Arkham Origins on the Wii U, and I have it on the have it on this PS4 here, but I won't be able to use some of the really cool skins. I'll be able to use some skins. But yeah, I just, I kind of, when it comes to PS3 games, I just don't pay attention to it anymore. I don't care. I could get like an HDMI adapter, but yeah, I don't want to. Mutants in Manhattan is underrated. It's not very good, though, but you can't get it anymore. Just like you guys remember Turtles Reshelled? Turtles Reshelled was abysmal, but I still own it. It's on that, like, Frankenstein PS3. I know I shouldn't be talking about it, though, because, I mean, you're not supposed to open up a PS3, gut it, and then, put the parts into another system, because it's not right to do that. But, I mean, I didn't want... I don't know. I didn't want my system to be destroyed because it was kind of important to me, It was the first PlayStation system that I bought as a, early adapter, so to speak. So I didn't want it to be completely gone forever. I mean, they were like, well, we could just, you can buy this new system and we can try to transfer. When they said we can try to transfer your stuff, and the dude was like, or, he says, sometimes this works. We can pull the system apart and we can stick it inside of another PS3 and it might work again, kind of. And I was like, well, is it 50-50 or what? He says, not necessarily, but he says, if anything, the hard drive might still work. I was like, okay. So, I mean, they did what they could and mostly works. But to be honest, I haven't really used it that much, except when we finished that Spider-Man series, which we did use an HDMI adapter, like a, whatever it was, like a composite to HDMI. And I'm just going to be frank with you guys, that Spider-Man series did not look good after that. Like, it started looking pretty fresh. It was great. And then when we finished it, using the composite to HDMI, no. So I've never really wanted to do PS3 ever again. If the PS3 games are available on PlayStation 4 on their PS Now service, yeah, totally. But no, I don't bust out my old PS3 anymore. I just don't. They need to make more Batman costumes with live action. Do I like the Batman Beyond suit? Yeah. I could see the Batman Beyond suit looking something like this in the movie. I like this. I think that's a very film-like bat suit. I think that's kind of cool. I think that would work for film. Kind of. Maybe a little less military grade and more, those are just NPCs. Don't worry about it, Sonny. I'm not worried about it. Elgato HD 60. I don't have that. My Web of Shadows copy broke. Oh no, that sucks. You might be able to get it on Amazon or something like that. Do you like Batman with short ears or long ears? I like long ears, personally. So let's get back on the Batman Beyond topic as we wrap up. What else would you guys like to see if you could? Because remember, stuff is still kind of shoddy with what's going to happen. Like, nobody knows quite where they're going to go with it. Could be a combination of the Batgirl Year One story. It could be a Gail Simone run. It could incorporate some of the Batman Beyond aspect or none of it at all. So we're just kind of having a fun little discussion about what we'd like to see with Batman Beyond. Just to catch up with, if you guys are just joining, we talked about the reason for Bruce giving up. Some people came up with the death of a senator, like a lot of civilian casualty that led to him quitting, because while he does kill people, he doesn't try to harm innocent people. So that would weigh heavily on his conscience. Like, you guys in the chat came up with that. That was brilliant. I would steal that and I'd pitch that to Warner Brothers myself. Hey, I got a Batman Beyond script right here. Have a read. I totally wrote this myself. Ghostwriter. No. But yeah, you guys came up with some really fantastic ideas. I personally like the senator thing. I also like the idea of Terry McGinnis being the child of a mugging. Like, his parents died and then he ended up in foster care, and that's why he's kind of like the delinquent. So the guy who gets killed, ooh, I thought of something dark and edgy. Okay, here we go. All right. What if the woman the well, no, never mind. It doesn't work because then Terry would have lost a parent already, and I was thinking like it could be like his mom and his stepdad that are killed. But the mom played a big role in Terry's life. I guess you could get rid of her, and then he just has like his kind of like real dad that's kind of was an alcoholic and had problems. I mean, they could really capsulize that in a movie, but maybe that would be too much. I don't know. I don't know what's too far and what isn't, but I mean, I guess you could take your ideas of Terry being the survivor of a mugging that Batman failed to save because he had his heart attack and then he quit. And Terry's so messed up because he ends up in foster care. His only real parent who's still alive, his dad, who, you know, wasn't the dude who remarried his mom, is not the best guy, but he tries his best to take care of his son. But his son gets involved with the wrong people because he has all this anger from his parents. Essentially to him, his parents were killed. His dad doesn't pay enough attention to him because he is always working to support them both, which is what a lot of dads go through. A lot of dads don't have a lot of time to spend with their kids after a certain age because they have to work to provide for them. Although more people are ending up being able to work from home, which hopefully will be a lot more these days because a lot of jobs can actually be done from home that involve computers. I'm just saying. But that could play a big role. And, you know, when Terry's dad ends up being killed by the Joker gang, that could be another aspect. And I think it would be very interesting if Terry grows to like Bruce Wayne and then finds out that he used to be Batman and then whammo! There's your angst right there. There's your movie. I don't know. I don't think he would be too cool if Batman was responsible for his parents dying because he had the heart attack. And he's cool with hanging out with Mr. Wayne and he finds out that he's Batman or was. Ooh, that'd be a lot of drama. That'd be pretty intense. Oh, his dad was a criminal that oh my gosh, his dad is a criminal that Batman killed, causing him to quit. Ooh, wow, you guys are really bordering that DC darkness. Keaton Batman could most be anti-killing Batman if he kills a thug who turns out to be innocent and he feels so bad he retires. Only when Flash comes does he come out of retirement. That's good too. Nice. Project Batman Beyond, I don't know. Nintendo is teasing it. No, it's too early for the next Nintendo system. I'm going to shoot that rumor down. Very smart, Garrett. Wait, was that Garrett's? Oh, Garrett's going to sleep. No, that super chat was that was King B. That's pretty smart. I like that. No, I don't want to talk about Kappa if somebody asked. He'll be like Batfleck. Which villain was going to be in the Batman Beyond movie? They haven't stated a villain yet. They talked about Origin. So if you go with Origin, it'd be Blight. I don't think it would be Indigo. I don't think it would be Mr. Freeze. Anybody like that. Spellbinder, too soon. Batman's rogue gallery in the future is introduced as the story goes on. So, I mean, you have to start with Blight. And what makes Blight such a great villain for Batman Beyond as a trilogy, there are different layers to his character you can introduce. You could have him the power behind the Joker gang that led to, you know, Terry McGinnis' dad being killed, like in the comics and the show. You know, he's this crime lord that nobody really knows, who kind of like a kingpin. You know, people know Wilson Fisk in the public, but they don't know that Wilson Fisk is the kingpin until much later, like once he gets exposed. So what if they went with that same mechanic, kind of? You have, like, Derek Powers is this everyman that everybody loves. He's one of the good billionaires. He gives to charity, and on the surface, he looks like a really cool guy. But behind the scenes, he's running the crime in Gotham. He's giving people these weapons on the streets, and he's hurting innocent people. He's selling arms to countries that are doing war stuff. You know, he's essentially a kingpin character. And the reason why his whole empire ends up falling apart in the second movie is because Bruce Wayne and Terry McGinnis get him because they realize he's the dude responsible for Terry's parents being killed. He's the guy who's trying to destroy Wayne Enterprises or whatever. And you have a villain that works for both characters, the retired Batman and Terry McGinnis. That'd be really cool to see. I don't know how they would do that in the movie or on paper, but I think it would work. And I'm not even this well versed in the Batman Beyond, and I think that could kind of work. You know? Like a Ferris Boyle, yeah. Wayne Mansion is invaded, inducing Bruce's heart attack, preventing him from stopping the murder of an illness-ridden Alfred Pennyworth. Oh no! We want Alfred to die of old age. No, no! Don't kill Alfred like that. Horrible. Like Arkham City's Hugo Strange. Yeah, kind of. I don't know a lot of facts about Batman Beyond. Sorry, Ruben. This is also DC, so they could just cop out and do Joker. No! No more Joker. No more Joker. Why not combine all those ideas? Yeah, there you go. Let's say Keaton grows a guilty conscience from killing a criminal who was innocent or had a full-blown, on-loving family. Then he decides that he's a menace as Batman and gives up the cowl. Nice psychological aspect to that. I like that. That works too. All right, so I'm wrong. You guys were able to find a way of incorporating Keaton's Batman into this universe. I give props to you guys. Very proud of you all. That's very good. See, originally when we started this discussion thing, I had no idea how you would get a Keaton Batman to work because he's already cool with killing. He uses guns. So, I mean, you guys brought up different aspects that, you know, if this movie doesn't get made like this, I'm going to be disappointed. Because this is pretty good stuff. You guys should, like, I don't know, write Warner Brothers or something. Like, give them ideas. Don't let their, you know, their table discussions are not like this. I can tell you that for a fact. When they're spitballing ideas, they're nowhere near this good. Nowhere near. They come up with a lot of crazy stuff that just, no. Basically, I can tell you how they do stuff. They have a bunch of ideas, and they have a dartboard, and they see what idea sticks to what. They have no plan. They fired the guy with the plan. Which were there two guys with plans. One of them was Zack Snyder, and the other guy was Jeff Johns. And they got rid of both. And then HBO Max brought back Zack, kind of. And, well, AT&T brought him back. Warner Brothers didn't want Zack back. You didn't hear that from me, though. The Snyder Verse is all thanks to AT&T and HBO Max, not Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers yeeted Zack. And then they yeeted Jeff Johns. So. And then they did their own things like Birds of Prey and stuff like that. So, and we saw how well that worked. It would be really easy. All you would have to do is you go up to their like little executive meeting or you hack their little Zoom thing that they're doing because all these executives and stuff are meeting on Zoom. You know, give them a pizza and just, can I have like 5 minutes of your time? Just tell you this, okay? And they're going to tell you the idea sucks and then you're going to see the movie made exactly like you said. And then you can sit there eating your popcorn and have a tear of joy. Because all they have to do is they just have to hear the ideas from the right people. And they'll steal your idea, patent it, and make the movie. That's our role as fans. And I'm totally cool with it. I don't care. I think it's called Zoom. All right, Blackwing, you take care, man. You have a good night, bro. Zoom hack. I don't know. What a Deathstroke kills Alfred. Stop killing Alfred! Stop it! Stop doing that. Don't do that. Let's not do that anymore. Leave poor Alfred alone. Alfred died of old age. He was happy. And he was surrounded by friends. Stop killing Alfred. Don't be Tom King. Don't do that. Stop it. Everybody hates Alfred. Yup, Jeff Johns did do that, Eric. That is true. Imagine hacking into Warner Brothers Zoom meeting and you hear the entire plot to a Batman movie. I don't care about spoilers as long as the movie's good. Stop killing Alfred. Batman eats nachos and becomes fat. Wait, Batman does not eat. Oh, I mean, he drinks raw eggs. Will you do Arkham Wednesdays again? I suppose. Alfred deserves better. That's a hashtag that needs to happen. Kwing, remember on your Killer Croc, you raged about Snyder? Oh, yeah, I remember. I'm much calmer now. But what if old age died of Alfred? The heck? Yeah, I suppose. Okay, yes, old age died of Alfred. R.I.P. old age. What the heck? Oh, gosh, you guys are too much. Oh, man. Yes, he drinks raw eggs. It's like a protein shake. Nightwing killed Alfred. Stop it! Snyder Punch. Is Batman's dad still alive? No. Alfred lives. No, don't do that hashtag. But Alfred does matter. Are you going to live stream Arkham Origins Blackgate? Maybe. Although people are more open to the idea of Origins and City live streams than they are Blackgate. I don't like Blackgate. Old age, R.I.P. Alfred. Oh, I want a picture of Alfred. If Keaton comes back, I want him to have a nice picture, because you know they took one of the actor who played Alfred and Keaton. They took a nice photo, like a family photo in Batman Returns. Like there's a what do they call it, like a promo picture, where they took a picture of Alfred and Keaton with his turtleneck thing. The turtleneck needs to come back. I'm just saying, I want to see Keaton Batman wearing the turtleneck again. That's a staple. That is his Bruce Wayne. His Bruce Wayne doesn't get fashion. He needs to wear the turtleneck. Even Val Kilmer wore the turtleneck. Bale stopped wearing the turtleneck and wore a polo shirt. No! The turtleneck is Bruce Wayne. You need the polo shirt. You need the turtleneck. Kwing, have you heard the full story of Johns replaced Snyder with Whedon? Apparently he pulled some dirty strings to do it, but no one will tell what those dirty strings were. He yeeted Zack, I know that, and I know it was dirty pool, but basically Snyder and Jeff Johns had been butting heads for months, and some of that has to do with legacy characters, because you know how Jeff Johns is a big protector of all things legacy. So yeah, he played dirty. I know. Not saying it was right or wrong, but I mean, I don't know. Hollywood is a pretty nasty business sometimes. A lot of gnashing of teeth. People you think are really cool in one business, they're devils in another. While I still defend a lot of stuff that Jeff Johns has done in the comic book world, he's not very nice in the movie universe. I mean, I think he's happier working on television than he is in film, because he was kind of two-faced in film. Didn't hear from me. But when it came to television, he was kind of Mr. Rogers again. Film had him do some pretty villainous things, you know, in order to fulfill the vision that DC and Warner Brothers wanted. Like, kind of like a hitman, I guess you could say. You know, taking advantage of a situation with getting Whedon in definitely is something that he did. Pretty scummy thing to do. I think Johns and Warner Brothers and DC should have waited, but they panicked. They did. The test screening for Zack Snyder's stuff didn't do too well. Or, well, I mean, it didn't do bad. It did okay. And Whedon thought, because he's friends with Kevin Feige, that if they brought in the Avengers guy, that they could turn around the Justice League property, and no. They should have delayed Snyder's Justice League until he was able to finish it, and they should have gone with a lot more solo movies at the time. It was too soon to do Justice League. Everybody is at fault with Justice League's fiasco. Everybody. Not just Jeff Johns. Warner Brothers. I blame DC Comics. I blame the production studios. A lot of people. It's a mess. And I still don't know how they're going to fix everything. There's too much. There's way too much. If Keaton is on board, cool, bring on the multiverse, but it'd be hard to fix. That's why they need to find a way to do Flashpoint quick. Because, I mean, the actors are aging, they're running out of time, they need to do something. And their old plan, there's no way it's going to work. You know? That's my guess. Warner Brothers panicked, yep. If you have to watch the Batman films again, what film would you watch again in the future? Burton's films in a heartbeat. Nolan's films. Maybe Batman Forever. I think Batman Forever worked for what it was, a reinvention of Burton's world, but I won't watch Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is where I draw the line. And a lot of animated Batman movies is where I draw the line. I won't watch Bad Blood or Titans versus Justice League. Only a select couple movies from that universe will I actually watch again. Justice League War wasn't bad, but Throne of Atlantis is far superior. The Superman Death Arc, those two movies are actually pretty good. We'll never watch Hush again. It was terrible. Batman and Son wasn't too bad. Judas Contract is very good. I would watch that again. More or less, though, people, when it comes to animated movies, I only really watch Mask of the Phantasm because it was handled so well. Under the Red Hood. Justice League, Crisis on Two Worlds. Dwayne McDuffie's last movie, I believe. That's fantastic. And even the Superman Public Enemies and Apocalypse movies are better than most of the new 52 films, and they were kind of the meh movies of the pre-52 animated world. I will watch those over most of the new 52 films because they're actually pretty good. What's your facts about Batman and Harley Quinn movie? What do you mean? Alfred dies and tells Bruce to give up the cowl and live a normal life so that he does. Why you people keep killing Alfred? Stop it. I'm not listening to any more Alfred deaths. No more. Gonna make me rage my own stream. Alfred, he ain't just a butler. That's right. Alfred is family. Stop it. Oh, gosh. You forgot Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns. Did I? Well, yeah. Dark Knight Returns is pretty good. It's still better than most of the new 52 films. I didn't like parts of it, but it was still pretty good. What don't you like about Batman Bad Blood? It's trash. I don't need to get into it. I made a whole review about why it's so bad. Never again. Never again. Alfred killers. Alfred died as Batman. What do you mean by legacy, Kwing? Legacy. What do you mean by legacy? The legacy of an actor, like what people remember them most for, like what they did to Luke Skywalker's legacy. So I mean, when Keaton comes back, they need to do honor to him. They can't make him like. It would be terrible if they brought him back and they just mistreated his character because some, writer with a pen has a few ideas about what guys are like and decides to smear Keaton's character, when fans have pleaded because we knew it was impossible for Keaton to come back. This stuff, you have to remember, this wasn't even a possibility 10, 15 years ago. No actor comes back and plays a role like this. I mean, when Harrison Ford did this kind of opened the floodgates of possibilities, but Nobody thought Indiana would come back either. And then with the Star Wars, when you had characters coming back, this is kind of like a norm now. But, I mean, you still need to handle it better. You need to do it in a way that does honor to the original people who made Batman and Batman Returns. What Keaton did with his characterization all those years ago. You wouldn't have modern superhero movies without 89's Batman. Not even possible. The boon of superhero stuff the past 20 years would not have been possible without Batman 89. No way. No way. And superhero films that try to connect to that need to remember that. And people working on, this Flash movie and this Batman Beyond thing, they need to understand the importance that those films had, not just with comic book fans, but moviegoers as well. I mean, these are films that still are really good to watch today. And Keaton's performance was pretty amazing. He set the tone for Batman actors, whether you like it or not. He did. Especially in film. So when they make this movie, they need to do it properly. That's all I'm saying. If they can do that, yeah, I'll promote the heck out of it. Whatevs. I don't care. If it's bad, even though I like Keaton, I'm going to have to say it's bad. It can't just be like, yeah, my favorite Batman's coming back. Woo. I'm going to like it no matter what. I love the idea of him coming back, but if they do anything to smear his character like they did to Luke Skywalker, that's not going to be good. It's almost like if that's what they're planning on doing, don't have Keaton come back at all. Do I think superhero films will fade because of the pandemic? No, because superhero films are going to live on through streaming services. They're not going to go away. They would have to do something pretty terrible to get the public to hate superhero films. We're going to find out what happens with, what's the name of that movie coming out? The Elementals, the Eternals? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if the Marvel magic can continue the way it has been with movies making billions, or if they're going to start to, get some wins in the sales. As long as they don't try to drastically change their formula, they'll continue to make MCU films that work. But if they try to go too far the other way, then they're going to make a Ghostbusters movie 2016. And then that could hurt superhero films. But you have to remember that what AT&T just did with the Snyder Cut releasing on their platform is something new. And you're going to have people saying, well, it's the same Justice League movie. No, it's not. It's a completely different film. This isn't like Watchmen director's cut compared to the original Watchmen film, which they had similarities. This is going to be like a completely different story, a completely different outcome. There's going to be more character beats in it. There's so much going on in this 4-hour thing that it has to be turned into a miniseries. There's no way. There's too much stuff in it for it to just be a 4-hour Lord of the Rings movie. No way. I don't see it happening. Not like that. They can easily milk this for a month as a miniseries with hour episodes or whatever, or 45-minute episodes. I don't know how miniseries work. I don't really watch them, but I'm just saying they could easily milk it. And that's never been done before. So if superhero movies take a hit in theaters, you get more Birds of Prey, flops and things like that, I think that films the superhero genre can expand and thrive thanks to Disney Plus's MCU stuff, and if the Snyder stuff becomes a universe on HBO Max. I think that people will dig that. So no, I don't think that it's ever going to truly go away. I think it might take a hit, maybe, but I don't think it's going to be anything too significant unless, every movie they release at that point doesn't have the same magic as the Avengers did. Because some people are done with the Avengers. They're not going to continue to Phase 3. Their favorite characters, the big Marvel heroes, are gone except for Spidey. So you have to realize and rationalize that those movies are going to take a little bit of a hit. Steve Rogers is gone. Tony Stark is gone. Hulk is basically gone. Hawkeye is gone. The original Black Widow is gone. Her replacement is going to be in there, sure. Like the person that she's going to pass the baton to in the Black Widow movie. But it's not the same characters. You know what I mean? So you just have to think about that. But no, I don't think it's going to be completely torpedoed. No way. I don't think Black Widow's going to flop. I think you're going to be surprised that it's going to be a nice exit for the Natasha character. Mm-hmm. I hear Birds of Prey again. I'll bring down the WB Water Tower. Birds of Prey is dead. It's not getting a sequel. Don't worry about it. That movie's over. It's not continuing. Next you'll see Harley Quinn is in James Gunn's movie, and James Gunn's movie is going to be really good. I kind of like the direction he's going. I don't know how I feel about James Gunn as a person, but he's a comic book nerd. I'll give him that. The stuff that he talked about on his Twitter a week ago, the books that he listed, those are really good Suicide Squad stories. This man knows what he's doing. This is not going to be a David Ayer Suicide Squad. Nope. I'm interested, is what I'm going to say. I'm very curious. You know, I hope it does very well because he has the right mindset for the Suicide Squad. And he's picking a lot of great stuff from the 80s and, you know, some of the recent Suicide Squad stuff is decent. So, but he brought up all the right stuff. It could be his PR guy, but I don't think so. I don't think his PR guy is doing his Twitter. So I think that James Gunn actually knows what he's doing. Just like he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. He gets it. When you have a director that gets it, it's good. 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. I hope the Animaniacs moved out because this water tower going down. It's fine. There's no Birds of Prey 2. Relax. It's over. Warner Brothers said no. AT&T said no. And that's why Margot Robbie is at Disney now. She's going to be taking over poor Johnny Depp's role. Although Johnny Depp is doing pretty well in his thing against his abusive wife, so... But I feel bad for Johnny. I really do. I hope that his career gets salvaged, because I would like him in the DC Universe. Oh! I remember what I wanted to tell you guys. This is just a rumor, but I thought it was kind of cool. So, what do you guys think of John Constantine? Like, more specifically, what did you think of Keanu Reeves' John Constantine movie? Did you like it or hate it in 2005? Because this next thing that I'm going to talk about for a few minutes, you might hate or you might think this is amazing. But as Kwing talked about W Games going, I'm going to do a whole topic on that. William Dafoe is probably going to be Joker in Matt Reeves' world, but that's... Okay, yeah, alright, so people know. Alright, so... Some water cooler talk going on in the industry is that Keanu Reeves wants back in the DC universe. And he wants to play Constantine again. And do a sequel to his 2005 movie. Now that he's done with the John Wick stuff, he wants to play John Constantine again. Which is, I'm actually totally okay with, because even though Constantine's movie with Keanu Reeves in it didn't quite feel like a DC movie, I thought it was a pretty cool vampire movie. And I love the idea of Keanu Reeves coming back, like Keaton, into this DC multiverse. Like, they actually, if they go with this plan, they actually have something where they're trying to connect the dots from the past, which, right now, no other studio besides DC Comics has done this. They've done it with the CW, bringing back the original Flash. And now they're trying to do it in the films. Marvel has, other than using like Lou Ferrigno for some cameo stuff, they have not really brought back the original character who played so-and-so 20, 30 years ago to come back in a new movie. They brought back older iconic actors like Batman to play the Vulture, but they did not bring back the guy who played 90s Captain America to come and play a Captain America role in the MCU. I'm not saying they won't with their multiverse, but if DC gets their multiverse pen now and they get their big leaguers back, like Keaton as Batman, Keanu Reeves as Constantine, and, you know, maybe Snipes back as Flash, who knows? I mean, if they can hit all those, you know, marks, boom, 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 DC's got a really interesting multiverse going that will be connected to the CW as well, because that seed has already been planted thanks to Infinite Crisis with the Ezra Miller and the Grant Gustin thing. So, I don't know. We might see DC come back. I mean, if they can get all the stuff they're trying to, and most of these actors are pretty up to things because most of their projects got canceled because of the pandemic. And Warner Brothers is really trying to sweet talk these people with AT&T. So, I mean, there's a huge possibility, people. I know Marvel wants Keanu Reeves to be Ghost Rider, but if we get him back as Constantine, woohoo! Woo! Woo! That'd be so good. Ah! Oh my gosh. And this is why competition is good, guys, because if DC and AT&T can get Keaton and Keanu Reeves back, right? Then MCU has no reason not to bring back Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield along with their current Spidey to do a Spider-Verse live-action film. I said it. So DC can plant those future comic book seeds that will help all of superhero cinema. Make everybody happy. So we want this to happen. We want Keaton back. We want Keanu Reeves back. We want the original Flash back. We want these older actors one last ride to show us how great they were in the past and how great they still are, while not screwing it up like Star Wars did with bringing back their original cast members. That's my hope. You know what I mean? After the next John Wick movie, Keanu Reeves said he's done. Like, he's hinted at it. Whatever their next movie is with John Wick, that's his last one. That's why the Constantine thing is going on. I believe some of the Constantine rumor. I don't believe the other part of it, which I can tell you real quick. Not saying that this guy wouldn't do it, because he did reprise his role as Constantine for the CW. But the idea is to have two Constantines. Because, as I was telling you guys before, which I don't have proof of this yet, but mummerings, is that there are going to be two DC universes simultaneously. All connected to the multiverse, but two separate universes that are doing their own thing. The universe with Keaton and the multiverse interlocking with one another, and a universe that is partially connected to the multiverse on HBO Max. And HBO Max's Constantine would be played by the guy who plays Constantine the most, in both live action and animated. I don't know if there's any truth to this, so I was just kind of like, okay, that's cool. Apparently, he would play Constantine in the Snyder universe because Constantine was supposed to appear in one of the Snyder films, either Justice League Dark or Justice League 2 or 3. And he always had, I believe, that particular actor in mind to play Constantine. So you'd have two Constantines. Keanu Reeves in the Keaton multiverse, like, films, you'd have to go to the movies. And then to see Snyder's projects, you'd have to watch HBO Max. And you would see Justice League miniseries or side projects like Justice League Dark and whatever. It's a cool idea on paper. I don't know they can pull it off. The only way they'll be able to pull it off is if the Snyder Cut is a success. If the Snyder Cut isn't a success, then you have to worry about things like studios not listening to fans anymore, and instead of giving us a Terry McGinnis Batman Beyond film, we get a Barbara Gordon Batman Beyond film. So all of this is dependent on if Zach's vision is a slam dunk or if it's a foul or a rejection. I don't know sports terms. I was leading off to a really cool conclusion. And this is why I didn't become a youth pastor, is because I have part of it. I get that good ending, and then I botch it with sports terms. So there you go. It all rides on the Snyder Cut. Yeah, something Ryan. I don't know the guy. The guy who plays Constantine the most. I am also a firm believer that Batgirl should have her own solo movie that's not connected to Keaton's movie. Unless it's a different movie where he's playing a mentor. The only reason that the whole Batman Beyond thing even got mentioned is I think it's Keaton's fault. Because when they were having their discussions and they brought up the possibility of him being the mentor to Batgirl, I think he misinterpreted what Batman Beyond was and what the Batgirl thing was, and he kind of combined those two ideas. Because Keaton, I love him, but he doesn't really know a lot about Batman outside of what his characterization is. Like, he knows the source material that they used for his movie. He talked to Bob Kane a lot on set. And, you know, had Bob autograph a lot of the, 30s and 40s comics. And even, I don't know why, but Bob Kane even autographed Frank Miller's book for Keaton. Okay. But, yeah. So, I mean, he's familiar with some stuff, but the things that come afterwards, he's not interested. He doesn't know about Batman Beyond. He doesn't know about Nightwing. He knows who Robin is. Might know who Batgirl is because of the 60s show, but, it's outside of his wheelhouse. He is an actor who studies up on things when he signs on for something, so he could always learn about it, but a lot of the people freaking out about the whole Batgirl Beyond thing might be Keaton's fault that got the executives thinking about, well, why don't we just take the Batgirl movie and the Batman Beyond movie and, put them together. That way Keaton could be the mentor, the mentorship role that he was going to do for Batman Beyond and the retirement, but the mentorship that he was going to do for Batgirl, and then just slam them together. So that might be his fault or his PR team. Nobody knows. And like I said, it's nothing to worry about yet, because this is all just an idea that they have. It's not concrete. Keaton is not signed on yet. If this is the plan, we will be talking about it again. I guarantee it. But if some cool things happen and some awesome people get on board, I am really going to try very hard to push for hashtags James Wan as the director of Batman Beyond. I'm going to be talking to so many different Bat blogs, Bat sites, and I want them to help me push that trend of people getting in the mindset that James Wan could direct Batman Beyond over Tim Burton. Because I think he would do a phenomenal job, and it would be an epic movie, and it'd be another billion-dollar success for James Wan. That's just my thought on it. But that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to call in a lot of favors. Because that's the kind of stuff I want to see positive on Twitter. Especially in the comic book world. Oh, yeah, I know a lot of Bat sites. News outlets, all kinds of places. I've been in this thing for a long time. So I'm gonna contact a bunch of people because I when these fan groups work, they work when we're united. Just like I was a big part of Operation Rainfall. I don't know if you guys know that. I really helped them push on the early days of Twitter and other things. The 3 Operation Rainfall games that ended up coming to the States. Like, getting in touch with... We did all kinds of stuff together, but we were united, So Bat fans, with Keaton, wanting them to, go with Keaton in Batman Beyond, and not knowing who the director is. Because I know some Bat sites have already made some posts and talking about, well, they think this director is up and coming, they do a great job. No, we don't want that. We want a unified front. We want it to be very concise. We want it to be spammy. We want it to be everywhere. We want James Wan. We want Keaton. We want Terry McGinnis. Got to have our bullet points, and then we just run with it. And then we just put it all over the internet. So everybody has to do it. Like all the Batman vlog channels, all the Batman sites, all the comic book Batman sites, all the Keaton fan sites, all the James Wan's fan sites. Everybody's got to be united on this, or it won't work. That's how fan things work. And I'm telling you, that's what Operation Rainfall was. We were united, and we were successful. The games came out. Did they not? Did Xenoblade come out in the States? I think it did. Last Story and that... I can't remember the other game. Pandora's Tower. That was it. Yeah. I didn't really play Pandora's Tower. I did play Last Story for a little bit. I love Xenoblade. So, I mean, I'd say it was successful. Yeah. So yeah, that's what you can take away from this. So I'm going to be emailing some friends, and tall order, but hey, it's possible. When fans get together, we can move mountains, people. Remember that. Or in this case, we can get an old retired Batman back into the DC universe. Because when Harrison Ford came back as Indiana Jones and the Star Wars cast came back, anything's possible now. You know? And I think it would be something positive and something fun that people can just push past politics and whatever other tensions are going on in the world and just do something fun, you know, something that can actually get people pretty excited for something cool, you know. When people use positivity and stuff, it makes you feel better, you know. Not necessarily just the positive thinking mindset, but it just like when you do something good, you feel good inside. If you do something bad, you feel yucky. I mean, that's kind of a maybe not the best wording of that, but you know what I mean. So like I said, I'm going to be reaching out to people, even some people I haven't talked to in about 10, 15 years. That's going to be a fun conversation. Hey, this still your number? Oh, it is. Hey, yeah, listen. So what's going on with this? You think maybe we should be going this route instead? I like where you're going, but, you know, hello? Oh, okay. You hung up. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to really push it, though. I'm going to try. Because, you know, I might get lucky. Usually my mean tweets or my things that people try to cancel culture me on is what gets retweeted and shared like crazy, and I get in trouble. But I would like something cool for once to trend and, you know, be responsible for something awesome happening. That's what I would like to see. Because my last really good viral tweet was something about Father's Day with the Bat family, and that was like, oh my gosh, almost 10 years ago. So everything afterwards has just been me being critical about games that either people love or hate. So it is what it is. All right, guys, that is going to do it for the discussion. I hope you guys enjoyed this, what was it, 2-hour podcast? Something like that? Something like that. 2-hour cast. Yeah, 2 hour, 28 minutes. You guys have great ideas. Let's see if we can move some bat mountains with the Batman Beyond stuff. There's 400 of you guys. You could even start a hashtag tonight, James Wan Batman Beyond. And just, that's really catchy, isn't it? James Wan Batman Beyond. It writes itself. James Wan Batman Beyond. I like it. I can still do marketing. All right, you guys have a great one. And I will see you in a couple days. I don't know what we're going to be doing, though. I think we're going to be doing Arkham Origins on Wii U. We'll see. All right, people. This has been your Batcast. Smoke bomb.